And I thought that's really cool. But he went on for quite some time here about how this shows the Midwestern attitude toward this and that. And this is out of Chicagoans. We have a long frustration with this kind of people, and despite being from Massachusetts, clearly knows all about it. But so this is the comic he saw. If you were a couple hundred miles away in Toronto,
That's awesome.
Oh.
And in fact, then, like if you, of course, that only worked for places where it snows. So if you visited the site from, say, Tampa, and so what I had done is I broke the U.S. into regions. Figure out what disaster people would be smug about, like toughly endured. And this was I think number 14 of the 37 base comic options that you can be shown. So people from Chicago or Tampa, if the guy had thought to ask someone else in his office who was using Chrome instead of Firefox, if they liked today's XKCD, they would have said, I didn't see that. What are you talking about an earthquake? I saw a comic about the Aurora or something. Or a comic that was completely different. And what was great about this is the sort of chaos that it would create. So, you know, like in cities all over, some of them were regional jokes. You know, like this was the one that we showed in, I think, Illinois for one browser and in Washington, D.C. for another one. And I just drew a whole bunch of these. And if for some cities, you know, instead of doing something regional, if you were in Chicago, maybe you were using the browser. Like if you're in Firefox in Tampa, you can see. On the other hand, if you were in that same city and you use IE. So we had all of these, this is the XKCD sysadmin who tries his best to remain anonymous, and he coded the backend, and I spent about 40 or 50 hours straight just drawing until my hand was doing this weird cramping thing that I've never done before when and we blended the US with these, which created some really great chaos when people would see, because what really turned out to be the best was there were comics that were kind of surreal, and there were some that I actually can't show this one that was an ant because it involved this animation. As you stretch and close the browser, there was a snake snaking across most of the screen. If you expanded the browser window, the panels would get wider, and there would be more and more snake as you wrapped around more and more things, and you know, it would have swallowed an elephant in the style of Little Prince and so on. And you get someone who's trying to talk about, like, the earthquake comic to someone who is seeing a snake comic, but it just doesn't enter into people's minds that they might be seeing different things when they go to the same website. And so one of them would be like, oh yeah, well, and then I totally agree, we sort of have an attitude here about these things. And it's like, you mean about snakes? And so it was fun to look at. I think there was one with, if you were directed there from Facebook, starting about halfway through the day, there was one that was about this really convoluted Yolanda joke involving ballasting all your dogs so they didn't float away. in some kind of dystopian future where the government believes dogs are going to float away and requires everyone to ballast their dogs. And the reason I put that one in there was just because I like the conversations that would happen when one person sees like a political comic or whatever and tries to talk to it, and then the people in the discussion thread, because they post it on their Facebook, and then the people in the discussion thread are all talking about dog battles. And I did deliberately stoke this in a couple of places. There was one comic that was just sort of a generic insult for a school. The thing was, I made this comic, and I made it so you could swap out the school, and it seemed pretty specific. And I showed it to, and then what I did is I got a list of colleges that have rivalries. So, if you went to this website, if you went to the site from Virginia Tech, one of the computers on the Virginia Tech campus, you would see this making fun of UVA. And then you call up your friend at UVA and be like, did you see today's XKCD? And then, if you got on from UVA, you would say about Virginia Tech. Totally nails it. And I enjoy trying to think how long some of those conversations might have gone before they realized that it was. And so very predictably, of course, I ended up with a large number of these permutations up, but people caught on, not right away, but they caught on. And so this is a very small part of the Reddit thread, where everyone from every part of the US and every part of Canada, and there were some comics for Germany, France, other parts of Europe. I did one in Hebrew. I got a friend to translate it for me, and then wrote that in Hebrew. And people cataloged them exhaustively, and all of the variants too, which runs into the hundreds. Yeah, so this is what UVA saw. And so, Tech saw that with Tech in place, and every time it was unfavorable comparison to MIT. So then the question is, what did the people at MIT see? And for them, I just did a version of this comic. I did a couple of comics that were sort of poking fun at MIT. Not really like comparing anything to the school, just poking fun at them. And that's the comic I sent to everyone around MIT, and then a version of that at MIT. And interestingly, all the people I heard from MIT, none of them thought it wasn't about, that it wasn't about them. They, no one from MIT questioned that I would be doing a comic about them. They were like, oh, it's about us. And they were actually sort of the last ones to catch on. So, I don't think about myself as super into pranks, because I don't like things where it would be really stressful for the people involved, or a lot of the kind of gags where you make someone look really stupid to all their friends out in a stadium or whatever. But I was thinking about New York City on April Fools, and remembering some of there were a couple of incidents here that I've had a lot of fun remembering in the past. One of the first things I did when I came here was I went to check out, I walked by James River, because I wanted to see there's a tree out front that's sort of at the corner of the area in front of James River that has a whole bunch of branches. And when I was going here, maybe because we didn't have as many nice buildings to hang out in, everyone was always in the tree. And people really like this tree. People play frisbee and sit around and talk all day and all night. And so one day at about 3 or 4 a.m., I got up and I made this sign. Because so next to the tree, at that point, there had been some drainage issues. There was a puddle that was there, and at one point the grounds people were there for a while digging a trench and cleaning the drainage. So I got to the tree in the middle of the night and I hung up the sign that just says on it, "Save the tree. Don't let them cut it down. A little drainage problem shouldn't cause the loss of one of CD's most beloved landmarks."